Hi kids, as you can see I'm in my comfy clothes today, and as you can hear I'm not feeling the best either. But I decided I have a lot of leftover chicken breasts that we used over the weekend and I don't want to go to bad. So I did some research and I'm going to try a breaded chicken crocchetta. You think of it more like a salmon patty or maybe a potato patty. So we're going to walk through this in just a minute. And again, usually this is for my kids, but I want to give out a shout out to Paige and for Shawna today because they've been actually subscribing and watching some of the videos. So thanks, you guys. So to start off this recipe, they're asking for a basis of a white sauce. What it is calling for is a half a cup of milk, a fourth of a cup of white flour, a fourth of a cup of butter. It's asking for a half of a cup of the chicken broth, and I will also add in a little bit of salt and a little bit of a pepper. The fourth of a cup of the butter is melted already in the pan. So we're going to go ahead and put our flour in. Just go ahead and dump your fourth of a cup of flour in that. This again is for our white sauce. And start stirring it. I know it's swirling around in circles because I'm not holding on to it. Once this is stirred into a nice forming paste, then you are going to go ahead and slowly add in your half cup of your chicken broth and your half cup of milk and continue to stir it until it gets to a nice and thick consistency that you want for your white base. The chicken broth and the milk are in here already, and I'm continuing to stir this. It is nice and thick. By the time this is a complete mixture, then we are going to dump it out, put it in the bowl I have to the side so we can let it rest. As you can see, this is a very thick white base. Look at that. It's not going to be real thin because this is going to hold all your mixture together when you're basically making the chicken patties. I'm just going to say chicken patties because that's easier for me to say. See, look at that. It's nice and thick, and that is exactly what you want. Next step is getting your patties ready. For this, you're going to need 2 eggs. You're going to need at least a half a cup of finely diced onions. I am going to use onion powder, garlic powder. You're going to need some breaded crumbs. I just have the Italian crumbs. That's just what I have in my cabinet. And for giggles, I'm going to put a little bit of mustard in here for seasoning, just for the fact that it is asking for a celery seasoning. I don't have that. I'm just going to try something different. And then also I have some pre-cooked chicken breasts from sandwiches we made. One is a very hot and spicy that Doug prefers, so I'm going to use part of that, and I'm going to use part of the regular chicken breast that I like. I'm making some changes to the recipe. The one that I looked up on, I have it here on the computer, but as you know, I like to research things and I make it my own way. It is calling for 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. It is asking for the garlic powder. It's asking for 1/8 teaspoon celery seed and a half a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. But since one of the chicken breasts is already spiced up, I'm just going to use that. You know, salt and pepper as usual. So what I'm going to do is just kind of add everything together. Keep in mind that with this recipe, it is asking for 3 cups of the chopped up chicken. So we'll get back to that in just a moment. At this point, you should have 3 cups of finely chopped chicken in a bowl. This is going to be your mixing bowl. You have your sauce, remember your white sauce that was cooling. You should have a 4th cup of finely diced onions, your breadcrumbs, your mustard, onion powder, and garlic powder, and your 2 eggs. Basically, all you're going to do is you're going to dump everything into this bowl. After you dump it into the bowl, including cracking in your eggs, you're just going to mix everything together really good and thoroughly. I guess I didn't tell you, but with your breadcrumbs, you should have about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs. If you feel like it's too moist and you're not going to be able to form anything after it says, go ahead and add a little bit more. But after this mix is done, you're going to put it into the refrigerator and let it sit for about 2 to 2.5 hours. This way everything comes together, and it will be easier for you to make into a patty when we go to fry them in the pan later on this evening. it's finished getting stirred up. Hopefully this is what it should look like. It is kind of sticky still, but as you can tell, if you move it around your hands, you can form it. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I am just going to cover this up with some saran wrap, and I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator and let it sit for 2 hours. When Doug is ready to eat, we're going to form it into some smaller patties and fry them up, and they should be good to go.